Hello, welcome back. Let's talk today about the most powerful thing that you could do right now. And then in the next moment, the most powerful thing you could do in the next moment, and the moment after that, and that, and that. And you get where we're going with this. So, what is this? What is the most powerful thing that you could do right now? It's something that you're completely in control of because you could choose to take control of it rather than let it wander off. And that thing that we're talking about here is our mind. This is a course in mind training. So, the most powerful thing that we can do right now and in every moment is use the power of choice that we have, and we do have it. We can use this power to allow truth to be just as it is, to acknowledge truth and allow it to be just as it is. So, why is this so powerful? Well, when we acknowledge truth just as it is, something very, very important happens. We're relinquishing our iron fisted grasp on what we call reality, what passes for our lives here in the world, which is not, in fact, our reality at all. At all. We're relinquishing our insane need to manipulate and orchestrate and control all phenomena. It's a feudal effort, even if you may succeed temporarily. You may succeed in winning a business contract, for example, or you may succeed in going on a tropical or Mediterranean vacation. You may succeed in calling in a hot, sexy new lover for the weekend or for the next 30 to 40 years. We appear to have these so-called successes here in the world, but they're all fleeting. Not a single one of them lasts, including this thing, which clearly doesn't last. It's not eternal. And guess what? You are eternal, and this is not you. The physical body is not you. When we allow truth to be as it is, we accept and acknowledge ourselves as we are. We accept and acknowledge our brother as he is, as she is. And we simply set the ego aside. We allow everything to be just as it is. And what we're doing in this very powerful decision is we're getting out of our own way. There are many, many spiritual traditions in the world that put it just that way. We want to get out of our own way. Here's what's meant by that. In reference to A Course in Miracles, we allow truth to be just as it is, and we give every situation in our lives over to our inner teacher and relax and trust in our inner teacher's guidance. He will show you what to do. He will show you what to say in every situation for the maximum good for every single living thing without exception, which we can certainly not say for ourselves when we go off and attempt to control and manipulate all phenomena We're attempting to manipulate and control nothing because this world is not really here. It's an illusion. It is a dream. And this is not the only spiritual tradition to say something like this, because in fact, the world is a dream. The central teaching of A Course in Miracles all boils down to the fact that there is no world. There is no world. So good luck getting the ego, this false sense of self that posits that this is your reality. The physical body is you, and your brother is separate from you, and you're all separate from God, separate, separate, separate. You're not separate. Good luck getting the ego that believes in separation to accept these ideas on the first hearing. So what I'm saying here is expect some internal resistance on the path. That is the ego that's resisting. It is only correct in one thing, and that is that you will leave it behind. You will simply set it aside. And that's a choice that we can all make right now. So you could make this choice today, right this second. And I invite you to do it. And then do it again and see what happens. And keep doing it and see what happens. Yeah, skeptical? No problem. Keep doing it. See what happens. What happens is we prove everything to ourselves. An apparently outside teacher won't prove anything to you. So an image on your screen won't prove anything to you. You end up proving it to yourself when you put these teachings into practice. Your experience will show you that these ideas are true. And that's powerful because that's how we're learning. The Holy Spirit, your inner teacher, Jesus, your guide, does not come in and magically wipe the slate clean for you without your having to do anything or think anything. We're responsible for the power of choice. We're responsible for making this choice in the present moment to allow truth to be just as it is. Let all the drama simply fall away. So the Holy Spirit, our inner teacher, teaches us the difference between pain and joy, which is the same thing as teaching us the difference between imprisonment and freedom. We have it completely backwards in the world. We think that imprisonment is freedom. It is not. In truth, which we're allowing to be just as it is, remember, we're exactly as God created us, as one with Him, as an extension of Himself. Just as limitless, just as loving and joyous, radiant, all of that. And how could it be otherwise when you consider that there is no separation of any kind? There is only perfect oneness. This is what is meant by the very simple two-word, two-syllable statement, God is. Period, mic drop. What's very interesting and very important about this is what is implicit in that statement, which you're welcome to say as well, and that is that only God is. When we allow truth to be just as it is, we're acknowledging this, and we're acknowledging our own reality, which has nothing to do with the image that you see when you look in the mirror that may have some gray hairs, or perhaps you think you'd like to lose a few kilos or gain a few kilos. I don't know. Perhaps you don't like your hair on a given day. Maybe you want to switch jobs or relationship partners, whatever it is. Our reality has nothing to do with this in any way. We're invited to change our mind and allow truth to be just as it is, rather than blocking it. What we here in the world refer to as spirituality, in all its many forms, there are, of course, many doors. What it all boils down to is setting the ego aside. However quickly or slowly a tradition may teach you to do it, they're all completely valid because they lead to the same place in the end: truth. All of spirituality is removing the barriers that we ourselves have put up to truth. We're the ones that have chosen, as far out and improbable as it may seem, we are the ones that have chosen to ignore it and run and hide from it. So we appear to be in these things. It's running and hiding. Along with space-time and the world itself, it's a separation device. However, important point here, and very powerful, we could choose right now to give this thing over to our inner teacher. Yeah, the body. Give the physical body over to the purposes of your inner teacher, to the service of your inner teacher. Your inner teacher is the Holy Spirit. Call it whatever you want. It actually is an it, not a he. Use the masculine pronoun if you want to. Doesn't matter. Give your entire relationship in every situation over to your inner teacher. Set as your entire goal for any relationship, any situation, the goal of truth. Oh, yeah, very powerful. That's from a text of A Course in Miracles. Allow truth to be just as it is. Give the physical body over to your inner teacher for his purposes. And what happens then is it becomes not a limitation, but a communication device. You share our inner teacher. Our inner teacher is one mind, one teacher. You share our inner teacher with your brother. And under the guidance of our inner teacher, every relationship has the potential to become what is known in the Course as a holy relationship. So rather than separate and exclude, all of your relationships can share our eternal oneness, truth. And what we have to do is simply let truth be just as it is. It is the most powerful prayer that you could ever utter. Help me allow truth to be just as it is. Help me acknowledge truth just as it is. When we acknowledge truth just as it is, we bring this acknowledgement to everyone automatically, because we've acknowledged everyone. There is only perfect oneness, and that is literal. All right. So, what do you do here in the world when you don't see that that's literal and this seems far out, fanciful, untrue? I mean, who knows what the ego is going to throw at you to get you to click away from this? I mean, there's a lot of shinier content out there for sure. I mean, really, there's nothing glittery about A Course in Miracles at all. What motivates each and every one of us is we're hearing the call. You're listening to the call of our inner teacher by simply being interested in spirituality in the first place, because we all know there are many people in the world who are not, who instantly dismiss anything like this as a useless waste of time and oxygen, as esoteric, as woo woo, as preposterous and ridiculous. Let them say what they will. They will all eventually listen to the call as well. How can I say this? It goes out to all of us 24/7, all of the time. It is the call to awaken. And somewhere at some point, whether you were consciously aware of it or not, you have heard the call and you've done something very, very important. You've chosen to listen. So for that, we all thank you. All of us. It's what we all need, is for people to listen to the call of our inner teacher and then to act accordingly. But first we have to, in fact, listen. Because there are so many of us that appear to be running around completely unaware. Now, this series of practices that we call spirituality, of which this course is only one door, so to speak, one outward manifestation, one appearance, one presentation. Yeah. It's not the only tradition in the world. Yet, somehow, you've become interested in it. So I invite you to explore that and let your inner teacher speak to you about what you should do, about the truth of who we are. And let's all today remember that the most powerful thing we could do right now is to allow truth to be just as it is. And if you feel that you need help, well, appeal to your inner teacher for help. Ask for help in acknowledging truth, in allowing truth to be just as it is. Every time you do that, you weaken the ego's grip on your mind. And the interesting thing is you do it without making the ego an opponent. You simply appeal to your inner teacher. We don't have to destroy the ego. It's nothing. We don't have to make an opponent where there is none. That's what we do in the world, because there is no separation of any kind. So any division, and this world is full of divisions of every kind, because we've invented them all. We've made them up. We don't have to create more opponents. There are no opponents. So we don't make them. We simply allow truth to be just as it is. Powerful, powerful indeed. All right. So along the way, it is to be expected that questions will arise. Of course, it's serious self-inquiry, right? And as you've discovered by now, and if you're just joining us, you'll soon discover that this course doesn't mess around and it doesn't mince words. Isn't that nice? Yeah. It's also an adult endeavor where we have to take a look at all of our drama. Insert another word for drama. It starts with an S, H, in the English language. we've got to take a look at that and bring it to the light where it is simply shined away. Our inner teacher shines it away. But we must first bring it, acknowledge it's an adult endeavor. The end result is what we all want: to clear all of the veils of illusion, to remove all of the barriers that we've put up to our awareness of truth, and let truth be just as it is. You can call that enlightenment. You can call it awakening. You can call it whatever you want to call it. What we all want is the peace of God. That's true. So, how quickly do you experience the peace of God and nothing else? Well, this is where you come in, and your own mind, your own free will comes into play, where we simply make the decision for God, for our inner teacher, to allow truth to be just as it is. So when you have questions along the way, you're more than welcome to leave them here. I'll be happy to take a look and answer them as best I can here. So it's important along the way to ask if you've got questions. And feel welcome also to join us. If you've not subscribed yet, this is the subscription button. It's the red arrow in the corner of your screen. Go ahead and click that and join us. And we'd love to have you. What we've got going on here is an international community. It's a growing international community. And it's so much fun with today's technology. One of the cool things about YouTube is that you can reach people from all over the world. And many of us will never meet physically in this lifetime, yet we're still able to communicate with each other and to share the Holy Spirit with one another. It's a beautiful thing. So please join us, and I will see you all again here very soon.